All right, so as always, 35 miles an hour will start, and then we'll hit it. And I hope I don't punch through this power stroke in front of me.
Oh, that would be bad. That would be bad.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
And now.
Oh, there goes the hitch. That hitch is
we
getting
could
wild.
hear it.
Yeah.
And now.
Wow.
What?
Just a hair under 8.
But did you hear? There was a little bit of an audible, like they made it sound like there's a little bit of augmentation. Did you hear like?
No, I did. You notice that?
Yeah, I noticed a little bit of that.
It sounds like you got turbos in that electric motor.
Yeah. On this episode of the iGauntlet, we have an old-fashioned Chevy versus Ford competition.
Oh, that's one of the oldest competitions since the beginning of automobiles.
But now we have electric trucks.
Yes, we have a Silverado EV,
Yes.
a new kid on the block.
Yep.
We have the Ford Lightning EV, which has been around a few years.
Yep. And we're gonna run it up and down the World's Toughest Towing Test to see exactly how they compare with 9,000-pound trailer.
It's like a super hike.
As always with an electric pickup truck, we're starting this iGauntlet at our studios in Boulder, Colorado, because we want to see the total range of this truck with a very heavy trailer. I'm starting at 100% charge, 505 reported miles of total range before towing, and I just connected our 9,000-pound trailer. It was pretty easy to do. I plugged it in, and the truck immediately recalculated my range, and it will adjust while I start driving. I'm also using tow haul mode, even though it's not going to be a huge difference, but I am going to engage it. Well, Mr. Truck, we've done many comparison iGauntlet tests in our 10 years of the Ike, but this is the first, I think, true GM versus Ford pickup comparison.
Well, EV pickup.
Yes.
Yes. That's where we are. The future is, we're riding in the future.
Yeah, we've done the Hummer, but the Hummer is like an off-road truck, right? Comparison.
Yes.
This is a Ford F-150 pickup versus Silverado EV pickup, both electric.
Yeah, and they're still so similar.
So we're starting at 66%.
Okay.
So let's make note of that.
Yes.
Okay.
Can we make it to the bottom of the hill with 66%? This ain't gobbling up energy.
No, but we're going down now.
I know,
So
I know.
we're going to be measuring amount of energy gained.
Okay.
And both of these trucks have really good, in theory, regen braking systems. And you could see here on my main gauge cluster,
Right.
you see the green down below, and there's little energy going back into my battery. Look, we just gained 1%.
Well, that's good. We need it. We need it because this battery is small, even though it's the high capacity one.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a big difference between this and what the Silverado's got. And you know my theory, I think hybrids are ready. I think EVs are not quite ready for prime
Here,
time.
can you film this battery percentage?
I got to push a button?
No, it's already recording.
Okay.
So you see, we started at 66%, and then we very quickly went to 67. So we already gained 1 percentage point.
Well, that's good because we lost quite a bit just going through the tunnel.
Yep, and climbing towards the tunnel. And I'm using, my cruise control is set at 60 miles per hour. I'm going to be doing the same thing in both trucks. Why 60? Well, that is the speed limit in this particular stretch of the iGauntlet. And it's been 60 miles an hour forever here.
Yeah.
So these trucks, even though they cost the same, and we'll tell you about the price later, they're quite different trucks.
Well, this is your big Tex tilt trailer that you use for almost all your tests. How did you set it up for this event?
Well, I wanted to push both trucks, and both of them are rated to pull 10,000 pounds.
Okay.
But both of them don't have tremendous amounts of payload.
Right.
So I chose 9,000 pounds. So the trailer by itself weighs around 3,400 pounds.
Okay.
The Jeep loaded up with our equipment, and it's an AEV edition JK Wrangler, weighs about 5,500 pounds. So altogether, I put it on a scale, and it's 9,000 pounds, almost to the pound.
Well, that's why it's a super hike, and that's a good way to explain it. that you can't just go by the weight of the trailer, what the capacity is. You have to go by the payload. You can't beat payload, so that's going to limit your real trailer weight.
Yes. And by the way, I have to thank Toby, our friend Toby Dallas, for letting us use his F-150.
Is that why there's a baby seat in the back?
Yeah, I did not have a baby. Did you have a baby?
No, Ford never sends us a baby seat. This is interesting.
So yeah, no, it's thanks to Toby, and of course thanks to Chevrolet for letting us loaning us the Silverado EV work truck as well. This truck by itself weighs just under 7,000 pounds. I looked at the sticker, right?
Right.
So about 1,500 pounds of payload. The gross vehicle weight rating is 84. So that calculates to about 6,900 pounds of curb weight. So actually, by comparison, this is way more lightweight. But also, you would think it would be swaying all over the place.
Yeah, because you don't have weight distributing on there.
But it's not swaying.
Yeah.
Actually, I feel relaxed. The ride is amazing. What would you say about this?
Well, it's interesting. Ride? It's interesting with rear coils too, because you would think they'd give you a little bit of Elvis pelvis thing, but they're not.
No.
You know, these springs are pretty stable, but yeah, they've done a really good job with engineering these, and this is good.
Empty. The F-150 Lightning was at 40 and a quarter inch. And look at this. We're at about 39. Here, I checked both sides already.
Yeah.
They're about 39. So that's only 1 and a quarter inch.
That's nothing. That's none.
Let me climb down. Hold on a second.
Or can you see?
Oh, it is progressive.
That's good. Yeah.
So basically, the spacing of the coil starts kind of large and then goes shorter and shorter.
Exactly. That holds your truck up. That's, it's like the stiffer leaves.
And it's a comfortable ride too.
It was and that four-corner coil was cool. It's like an SUV. Everybody should have one of these.
And here's what I really love about the F-150 Lightning. I have a battery gauge and a motor temperature gauges. And because, when you're going down this steep 7% grade on the iGauntlet, like over here, sometimes if you're doing a lot of regen, you can warm up the battery, right? And it will start, you won't be able to recoup as much energy. But it's not the case here. Look, my temperatures are still in the middle. There is no overheating of any kind, at least not communicated to me. And the regen is still happening.
That's good. So you're saying that the Chevy doesn't have those gauges on the motor and the battery?
No, I'll show you when we go in there.
You're going to show me. Okay, I just wanted to... No,
they don't. They don't, yeah.
Yeah, it's a comparison.
So it's starting to level off, and we're almost at the bottom of this big, big climb.
And, me, because I believe in hybrids and I'm not convinced on EVs, finding out how far you can go with 8,000 pounds is important. I think once these battery systems get up to where they can pull 10,000 pounds, 500 or 600 miles, then I'll probably believe in them. If I can afford them at that point when those battery prices and all that go up. But yeah, it's the future. It's what they told us on the Jetsons. Jetsons predicted the future. If you ever watch that cartoon, you know exactly what's coming.
So, for the first time ever, it's Silverado EV electric work truck on the Ike going down the mountain.
Super Ike! We're both like maxed out on payload.
So, I'm gonna set my cruise control to 60 miles an hour. And we're at 11.5 kilowatt hours used for this trip, okay?
The whole trip, cool.
So it's because we restarted the truck at the parking lot right before.
Right.
And I want to see how much energy we gain. But what happens if we go negative? If we gain so much energy that we won't be able to count it.
We can't even recharge the other battery, or just one battery? It's all there is?
Well, it's the same battery.
It should give us a reserve battery for the extra.
We're about 40% total battery. But see, Chevrolet is not displaying an exact numeric percentage of the battery. And they're also not displaying energy recouped, okay?
And why is that?
I have no idea. They're also not displaying temperatures of motors or batteries, right?
That's true. The Ford did all that. That's kind of a surprise. I guess they're not trading secrets yet.
Is this road
Well, I'm hearing more road noise. I'm hearing more
Yeah.
road noise than I did in the Ford.
Yeah, I do hear a little bit more.
And they're both Ford, corner coil, progressive springs, and they squatted almost the same. So that's what's weird. That this one is, of course, that truck, the Ford, has a full body frame.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes things stiffer, where this is a unibody, like an SUV.
Well, so I talked to Nicole Kratz, the chief engineer of this truck, and she said that it's a little bit of both. There is a chassis and also unibody, so it's kind of a holistic approach.
It's a subframe is what they are.
Yeah, because you have to somewhere to put the batteries, right?
Yes.
So the battery box is steel. It's a gigantic battery. We're estimating the battery at about 212 kilowatt hours.
Right.
Because Chevrolet didn't state that. But it's a different design, right? The Ford took that frame, adopted it for the Lightning.
From a 150 already.
Yeah. And this is a brand new design. And with the trailer hooked up behind the Silverado EV, let's measure loaded. So unladen, this fender is about 38 3/4.
Okay, 38 3/4.
So it's a little bit lower than the Ford.
Yeah, a little less clearance, I guess.
And then here with the trailer, it's 37 1/2. Wait a minute, it's also 1 1/4 inch.
Yeah.
It's identical squat.
Wow. Now, does this have progressive coils also?
Well, let me climb down.
It's got a 10-bolt. No, it's got 8-bolt wheels. It's almost like a 3/4 ton. 10,000 GVW. This is like a much beast.
Mr. Truck, you see how the spacing here is pretty wide, but then when you look up, the spacing gets closer. So yeah, it looks to me like a progressive coil.
Well, that's good. That helps you when you empty or loaded. It gives you some support when you got a tongue weight on it.
Oh, and look, Mr. Truck, I found a skid plate. There's a skid plate here on the back motor.
Cool.
And there's one in the front.
Well, that's good.
That's nice.
Did the Ford have skid plates?
Yes.
Yeah, and we heard the hitch more on this too. Go around corners, you hear things popping. Well, of course, this is also the work truck. I'm sure it doesn't have the same floor insulation that the very top of the line.
Or maybe door insulation, or maybe ceiling insulation. So
yeah, that's true. Work trucks always do make more noise than a loaded like a Lariat on a Ford. But I'm surprised, and you feel it's bouncing more, so that's the noise thing. But it's also rougher riding. So what is that? I guess that's just how it's tuned. It maybe the frame, it has something to do with how much it's vibrating on the rough spot. But anyway, this is all interesting because I really like this truck. Yeah, we're breaking new ground basically here. And by the way, we are carrying more mass because this truck weighs more. So that Ford, we talked about 6,900 pounds, right, of the curb weight. This is almost 8,500 pounds. That's quite a bit. It's like a 3/4 ton diesel. Well, that's kind of like that the Hummer. It's super heavy, isn't it? Yeah. Electric Hummer. And it's because the battery weighs a lot as well, right? Well, I guess that's what you're going to have to, if you want to have longer capacity, better trailer towing, you've got to do something, and that's going to be weight. And also stability is, I felt really comfortable and nice in the Ford. I also feel really comfortable and nice in here. There is no trailer sway whatsoever. I feel good. Well, of course, we're using a Gen Y hitch, one hitch we use on every one of our tests, and this is an adjustable hitch, so you can get different heights, and it's super, super duty. So we're not quite done with the mountain yet. We still have a little bit to go, and here our energy has been ticking down. We started at 11.5, right? Right. Now at 3.1. So this is really interesting. We'll be able to calculate kilowatt hours and also translate it into percentage. Yeah. Because we don't have percent here. Right. And we haven't gone into negative, have we, on the regeneration? Not yet. Because if it reaches 0, it won't tell us what it's doing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's top secret. All right, so we'll measure once again, as we always do, on the way up the mountain, acceleration from 35 to 60. Okay. So you ready? I'm ready. Well, this puppy's got the most power. So I know, this is going to be insane. Accelerating. And 60. Okay, that was right under 6. Right under 6. 6 seconds? Yes. That's pretty nuts. If we were in a diesel truck, half ton, or a gas truck, it'll be like maybe twice that. How come it didn't pull me back into the headrest? I figured that'd be enough G-force to slam me backwards.
Well, we're out towing 9,000 pounds. So I set my cruise control once again. So with electric trucks, we're using cruise to be as precise as possible and to measure energy. We started at about 72%. We already used 2% of our battery just accelerating in that fashion.
Yeah.
If we were in a gasoline or a turbo diesel truck, we would hear the engine revving up, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, even on the quietest diesels, you're still going to have some noise.
Yeah. But this, I mean, it's easy. It's quiet. Let me try to accelerate here. I need to go in the fast lane, my friend.
We should always be in the fast lane. But, they must have insulated this well, because I don't hear any road noise. I don't hear anything.
Oh, my gosh. No tire noise?
No, I hear you humming over there.
Do you want to measure?
Okay, we'll do that. Now?
I'll be quiet. 57 is like the quietest I think we've ever had.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, we start talking, it goes to 72.
Well, because we have booming voices.
Bass voices, yes. Wow, we're down to 66%. Wow.
We've used 6% already, my friend, and we've only gone 2.5 miles.
Yeah, that's... See, you don't have that problem in the hybrid, you know that, right? Let's just see what they're hiding down here now.
Yes.
Look at that.
Okay, so the F-150,
Abracadabra.
open sesame.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so we have a little bit of cargo here, just kind of lightweight boxes, and obviously it's a frunk.
Yeah, well, is that what this is? It goes underneath the frunk?
Well, there's
Holy
another.
Cow, there's stuff.
So I don't want to show everything that Toby has in here. We got this truck from Toby, so sorry, Toby. But I just wanted to show the space. It's about 14 cubic feet. And really what's powering the Ford F-150 Lightning are two electric motors, right?
Right.
Front and rear, so it's all-wheel drive. And 580 horsepower and 775 pound-feet of torque.
That's an amazing torque monster.
Well, that's like a heavy-duty diesel almost.
Yeah, well, it's 100% torque, so there you go. Okay.
But I think what Ford did here is they wanted to be one of the first people to offer a truck like this, right?
Well, they did, yeah.
Because Tesla promised us a Cybertruck a long time ago.
Yes, Tesla just talked, and it was going to be a big deal, and we're still waiting to see a Tesla years and years later.
Yeah.
That makes no sense at all. They had the lead there, and then they just blew it.
So Ford took basically an existing F-150 frame and body. They had to modify the rear section of the frame because it's independent suspension, right?
Yes, exactly.
But they were able to adapt it quickly, and I would say with high reliability, because we used to own an F-150 Lightning at TFL.
Yeah.
We put 13,000 miles on it, and we never had a reliability problem with it. I mean,
that's cool.
And it was a brand new truck, one of the first ones.
Yeah.
So I think they did a good job, except the range is not quite there for towing. Wow, so this is a Lariat, so this is not an XLT or a Pro. Right. So it's actually pretty nice in here.
Well, it's a little bit above a mid-grade. That would be an XLT. There's one up there. So no, it's pretty fancy. It's nice. The brake controller, look where it's at. It's where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, so we always talk about the placement of the brake controller. So in an emergency, most of us are right-handed. So it's kind of useful and easy for us to grab this.
Well, think about semi. None of the semis have the brake controller for the trailer on the other side. They have it all in this area.
Yes, and it also has a Pro Trailer Backup Assist feature. And then let me show you some of the towing features as well. So let me select this. This is their large screen. I do have one pedal drive, which means regenerative braking.
Okay.
I can select tow haul mode. Right there, boom. And then I can set it up for towing, and it'll remember my trailer. So let me try that. There it is, big text.
Oh wow!
Take a look at that.
File it in here. It's very comfortable. I just doesn't have massaging seats, but this folds down, doesn't it, or does it?
It does. Okay. And this is a traditional arrangement where the console shifter for the transmission.
That's awesome.
Even though we have no gears.
Yeah.
It's still, the park, reverse, neutral, and drive.
Now, what's this Blue Cruise thing up here?
Well, this truck, it's a subscription. So it can drive on pre-mapped highways with hands-off experience, but you have to keep your eyes directly on the road and ahead of you. and they're now starting to charge per month for that subscription.
Those rascals charge you per month
Well,
for it. You buy the thing and then you got to buy more things.
I know, but if it works, it could make your road trip maybe a little bit less stressful.
Yeah,
all right, we're almost reaching the top. I think it's going to be almost a perfect run. What would you say?
You would think so.
Because we didn't have any power issues, no temperature issues, no overheating, and stopping now.
Well, right on the money.
What is it?
8 seconds, or 8 minutes, I mean.
So that's a perfect run. That means
Yes.
8-mile climb at 60 miles an hour.
Yes, so you did good by not getting your foot off the pedal.
And it's 54%.
So we got enough half battery, we might go home, huh?
We might. So can you write this down on your notepad?
Certainly.
We started at 72 and we finished at 54, which means we used 18%.
Okay.
So on the way up, we used 18% battery. Mr. Truck.
Yes.
Are you ready to tackle the big mountain, the Ike Gauntlet?
Yes, let's see what the newest contender can do
Yes.
with 9,000 pounds?
Yes.
Wow.
All right, so as always, 35 miles an hour we'll start, and then we'll hit it. And I hope I don't punch through this power stroke in front of me.
Oh, that would be bad. That would be bad.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
And now.
Oh, there goes the hitch. That hitch is getting wild.
Hear it.
Yeah.
And now.
Wow.
What?
Just a hair under 8.
So maybe like a second or a second and a half slower than the Ford?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But did you hear the hitch made a noise?
I know. We've heard that with this truck several times turning corners, and we think it's because maybe not enough insulation in the work truck in the bottom. Maybe it's because it's a unibody. Nobody knows.
Yes. Let me set my cruise control. There. Oh, and we started at 2 kilowatt hours.
Okay.
So we'll see how many kilowatt hours we use on the way up.
And you don't see any exhaust pipes either. That's kind of strange.
No, and nothing comes out of these.
Yeah.
You know, if this was a hydrogen fuel cell, you'll have a little bit of water dripping out,
a little
right?
bit of water. Yeah.
But no, there's no exhaust here. It's just a lithium-ion battery. Basically, you know, similar technologies as far as battery tech.
Yeah.
Except on the Chevrolet, it's higher voltage, right? So
Yes.
it can run in 400 volts, but it could charge at 800 volts.
Holy
which
cow.
means it's faster charging, right? That's
Man.
you know, up to 350 kilowatt of speed.
Wow, that is. Well, is any of these chargers out there available to charge that fast?
Yeah, some
There
of the
are?
Electrify
Wow.
America stations and
Wow.
EVgo stations
I
have
thought
that.
maybe you had to go to a power plant for a city or something. Hook up.
Well, while the F-150 Lightning Lariat is a little bit more fancy, this is a little bit more basic as far as features, but it has the frunk actuation, and then I have to do it manually.
Wow. Both companies call it the frunk?
Well, they call it something else, like electric trunk versus something else.
Okay.
But
Well, it's not as deep as the Ford frunk or whatever.
no, it's not as huge. It's about 3 or 4 cubic feet. Still pretty sizable. We still have outlets in both trucks.
Uh-huh.
And this truck is also powered by 2 electric motors, right?
That's right.
But it doesn't have as much power as the Ford.
No, it's 510 horsepower and 600 pound-feet of torque.
But still, that's way more than a 6.2 liter V8, right?
Well, of course, and with 100% torque, you know, you got the power.
But this truck is heavy, so I wonder exactly how it will perform.
That'll be interesting. This is almost a really close comparison, except for a few things like weight and battery.
Yes. And now look, I have to close
it's
this.
a manual lid. What the heck? Well, of course, it's a work truck.
And it's soft close, so it just closed
There's
itself.
nothing wrong with that. A work truck are not going to have the same stuff as a Lariat. They're not going to have the same seats or the same insulation. So you can pick that into effect
There you go.
as close as we can get.
Let's try to measure sound. This is that time.
Okay. It's bouncing around a little. I would say 56. Yeah. Once in a while it goes to 57 and it jumps all over.
So it's about the same then.
Yeah, they are. They're close. And that's weird because that Ford was quieter on the road. So.
It felt quieter.
But we're on the smoothest part here, so I don't think we got much bounce out of the truck.
But we were on the same road in the Ford when we measured.
Yeah, yeah.
So if the surface is even, they're both about the same. Well, this puppy is flying up the mountain. I mean, it's the same as the Ford.
Yeah.
You know, these trucks do not seem to care when you load them up heavy.
Oh yeah.
They're kind of like a big diesel, right? Like a 3/4 ton.
Well, you can't beat 100% torque when it's always 100% torque.
Yes.
My gosh.
It's always available, right?
That's
it's always right
there. Yeah, that's why they're on trains, because they need all that power.
Now this truck is called the work truck.
Yes.
It's also called 4WT, which means it has the biggest battery available in the Silverado UV currently. But what do you think of this interior?
Well, I buy work trucks. I like the vinyl, the plastic. I like to hose the dang thing off.
Yep.
Haul my mud in here and my other cow stuff. But, no, I mean, it looks different because the way the screens are done. It doesn't look like most trucks do on the inside. It's got a giant dash. You can stick children up there and
well, we don't recommend that.
Okay.
But you have a little shelf. That's kind of useful.
Yeah.
For some items. You also have hard buttons here. But the brake controller is on the left. I'll show you here.
It's like a typical GM SUV.
So it's like a Suburban.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
Let me show you the towing page.
Okay.
You could do a light test.
Yeah.
It will cycle through all the lights. We've seen that. My gain will be using 3 right there. Checklist. But this version of it won't remember your trailer.
Oh.
And isn't that
the higher up ones do it?
Yeah, they will. But isn't that the feature you want in a work truck? Because you're switching trailers, you're working day to day. I think they should put it in here.
A work truck probably pulls more trailers than any of them, so that makes sense.
Yes. And look, there's my weight slip. But look how deep this is.
Oh, that is the deepest console I've ever seen. I think you can put basketballs in there. 2 of them. It's unbelievable.
And of course this.
That's pretty deep.
Sorry, that's my Walmart.
Oh, you bought something from Walmart?
Receipt. Sorry about that.
Yeah, so show that scale ticket. That's interesting. Did you show that?
Yeah, so combined weight without the people.
Right.
Without people.
Yeah.
With the Silverado, 17,620. If you consider the weight of the truck, that's about 9,000 pounds of trailer.
Exactly. That was a very good test. This was about as good as you can get for comparing these 2 trucks.
Do you have your timer? We're almost done.
Yep,
and then we can kind of tell. We can look at the energy used.
You get the pedal to the metal?
I'm freewheeling. I am using cruise, and I'm using about 200 kilowatt of power. So my maximum power is actually quite up there.
Well, that's good.
All right, are you ready? There's a little bit of traffic.
I'm ready.
And closing right now.
Ooh, now how did that happen? It beat it by 5 seconds. 8.55.
It must have been, I think they're virtually the same. You know what happened in the Ford?
What?
I was behind some slower traffic and it had adaptive cruise, and it slowed me down just a tiny bit, a couple of seconds with cruise.
No, adaptive cruise. Yeah.
So
okay,
there, and that was 25 kilowatt hours. So the Silverado towed the trailer all the way up here. It did the I-gauntlet, and we still have 33% of battery remaining, and it's all downhill to Denver.
Wow, we can make it back to headquarters.
Yes.
Back to headquarters. Hey, go ahead.
What?
I was just going to say, Jim's had this problem with stickers in the doors lately. Has this one got a sticker door that's got a problem?
It does. Well, it's got a payload sticker, of course. That's normal. But look at this. Towing 10,000 pounds. For vehicle configuration, so not this VIN.
Yeah, and that's sad.
That's a little confusing.
Yes, it is. That's not good. I wish they would change that, but you don't ask me.
That was probably one of the smoothest hikes we've ever done.
Yeah, we had no traffic and it was great.
Yes, and the trucks rode and drove really nicely. Let's go over the numbers. So on the downhill, the F-150 recouped about 8 kilowatt hours.
Okay. That seems good.
Drum roll. The Chevrolet Silverado recouped 9.3 kilowatt hours.
Oh, it jumped up a one.
So a little bit better. But also the Chevy is way heavier.
That's interesting.
On the way up, it's even more interesting because the Ford used 24.1 kilowatt hours.
Okay.
Or 18% of battery. And the Chevy used 23.3, so less energy used to climb and about 11% of battery.
Wow.
So what does that mean? I think that means on the way up, the motor that's a little bit less powerful saved some energy actually for us. So we need to rate these trucks. So the first, it's a 5-star rating, okay? So on the way down, both of them recouped considerable amount of energy, between 8 and 9.3 kilowatt hours. I want to give them full stars.
Yes.
Would you agree?
Yeah, they recouped really well. I was pretty impressed.
On the way up, well, perfect runs because they have lots of power on time. But the Chevy was a little bit more efficient on the way up. But I think full stars on the way up too.
Yeah. I mean, they hit around that 8-second mark. So what else are you going to get? Or 8-minute mark? What are you going to get?
Yeah, and they were both pretty quiet while doing it.
Well, pretty. Ford was super quiet. Of course, it's an expensive model with the extra insulation. The work truck made more noise, and it's not a full body frame, so we heard more ground noise out of the Chevy.
Yeah.
And popping of the hitch, but on smooth roads they were the same.
Yeah, that was surprising. Now, as far as suspension and handling, they both handle really well. They're both comfortable. They both squatted the same.
Yeah, and they did really well. Four corner coils.
So I would say full stars for that.
Okay.
And then, of course, features. I'm a little bit bummed about the Chevy. So first of all, I cannot remember my trailers inside the computer of the truck.
That's one thing.
It doesn't have, the temperatures on the motor and the battery.
That's important.
You cannot tell exactly what the percentage of battery you're at while driving.
Right.
So I want to take away half a star there.
Okay, well, they're the king of cameras. They're just not the king of gauges.
And then finally, range. GM wins this. Chevrolet wins range.
Well,
450 miles while empty versus 320 on the Ford.
I know, and that'd be a big part of how I would decide which one to buy.
Especially for towing.
Well, exactly. That's what it's all about. I mean, if you're going to get something to go to work in, you got a different choice. But yeah, I do think the Ford's probably, for all the equipment on it, it's a better value in price because the work truck is very low limited on power. But when you got a giant battery that tows the best.
And they're both $80,000.
Yeah, the whole comparison was so good and how close they were except for battery.
Yeah, but it's a lot of money, Mr. Truck. $80,000 is a lot of money, but this is where the current state of electric pickup trucks.
Well, that's true, and even though Ford had all the extra horsepower and torque, it didn't prove a whole lot on this test.
So I would say the Chevy ekes out this test just by maybe a quarter star in the end because of its range.
Exactly.
Because it's the best right now.
That's exactly how I would choose these trucks. If I was buying them today, I mean, the Ford's got the cool stuff. It's a little quieter and all those other things, and all the power's wonderful, but I got to tow a trailer. So the Chevy would be my choice on this test for myself.
Let us know what you think in the comments below. Check out store.mrtruck.com.
Say it with me.
And also alltfl.com. All right, so I did the journey back. It's about 58 miles from where we ended up after the hike back to one of our home bases here near Denver. It was all downhill. I mean, I almost used no energy. But let me show you. Let me open the door. 30%. So I used 3% of my battery to go 58 miles. And it says I have another 147 to go. Wow. So, you know what? This iGauntlet is telling me that range is basically no issue in the mountains for this Silverado EV. It's not. I drove all day. I went up and down mountains, and I still have almost a third of my battery left over. That's pretty nice.